Well, welcome to another week of Lockdown Diaries. And after the success I hope you all felt that we had last week with our interview with Val, again, I wanted to start this week with an interview to hear somebody else from our community and what they've been doing and how things have been going. And I thought it would be particularly interesting if we could hear from one of our medical students who's been working at the hospital. So I'd like to introduce Isa to you, who's going to come on now, and perhaps you just introduce yourself and tell us something about you.
Hi there, Stuart. Thank you for having me. My name's Isa Hassan. I'm one of the medical students at Warwick, which is a graduate entry programme. So just a bit of a background about myself. I initially did an integrated master's degree at the University of East Anglia in biochemistry. Then I finished that and went to work in a pathology lab for 2 years with my eyes on sort of doing research. I quickly realised that research wasn't for me, and so I then went on to want something that's more challenging for me personally and involved more patient care. So I decided to join the graduate medicine at Warwick.
Brilliant stuff. And then we get ourselves into a pandemic, and hospitals become tremendously busy, and everyone's really focusing on NHS and what to do. And you decide to go and help in the hospital.
I did, yes. That decision wasn't taken easily. I had to think about it a lot just because I'd seen everything that was going on the news. But, I chose to do a medical degree. I thought that's kind of what I've signed up for and what I'm getting myself in for. So I thought I would, have to do something really to try and make more of an impact rather than just sitting at home.
And tell us just a little bit about what it was like, because for those of us on the outside looking in, we could see tremendous pressure, people under tremendous pressure, and working in different ways, all the PPE and all the rest of it. So how did it feel going in and working in that kind of environment? How can you work in that kind of environment?
So for me in particular, it was daunting going to the wards and going into that environment, particularly the unknown. But personally, for me, it was really, I got used to wearing the PPE and stuff very quickly. I got very used to it, and it sort of became a very routine way of looking after the patient and sort of just going in daily and getting the job done. The PPE became very normal for me very quickly. So then, all I had to do was concentrate on what I was there for, and that was helping the patients get through the sort of traumatic things they were going through.
And did you feel you learned more for yourself because it was in the middle of a pandemic, or less, as it were, because there were fewer people around to be able to say, don't do it like this, do it like that?
In a way, it was, particularly with my role, what I was doing as a medical student support worker, it was more predominantly a caring role, which was something I'd never done before. So that helped me tremendously in terms of, in-depth sort of patient care and getting down to the nitty-gritty, as it were, and sort of being able to develop a relationship with a patient and become eventually a better doctor that way because of that. So, and on top of that, with the experience as well, it wasn't just a caring role. We also get to help the doctors out as well, keeping our sort of clinical experience up. So if the doctor needs any help with anything we're trained in, such as bloods, putting in cannulas or catheters or something like that.
Too much information? Too much information.
No, sorry.
And last question, if I may. So just tell us, what was the best bit?
The best bit is definitely the relationships you build with a patient, and definitely working with the colleagues, because you're all working towards the same goal through this sort of weird time. So you really do start to build a bond with the people in the hospital and on the ward.
That's fantastic. During the end of the sort of height of it, the person who was the chair of the trust, Stella Manzi, she got in contact to say how much she and everybody in the NHS locally wanted to thank people from the university who've done so much, and you're one of those people. So Stella would like to say thank you to you. I would like to say thank you to you and all of your colleagues who've done such brilliant things through this extraordinary period. And you'll be a brilliant doctor. We can all see that.
Thank you, Stuart. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Cheers.
So I need to bring you up to date on a few other things that our people are doing at the moment, and quite a lot of continuity is coming through in the messages you're telling me at the moment. Things are not back to normal, but some things are slightly beginning to get back to normal, if that makes any sense. Forgive the bus going past. The Centre for Teacher Education have put forward, they do this brilliant partnership schools conference every single year, and they've done this online this year. And brilliant to see that despite all the things going on, really important pieces of work like that can continue. It connects with hundreds of schools in our region and in fact beyond. And let me give a shout out to some people who did some brilliant work to make sure that all worked and connecting with all the schools. That's Georgina and Abby and Alex and Gemma. Brilliant stuff. Thanks ever so much to all of you. I've had a few emails from people saying, now we're in this phase of going back. Those of you who are in the phase of going back, it's really interesting to be back on campus. And Paul was one of those people who was in touch to say it's quite nice getting back to work. And if I didn't say it to you directly, Paul, what I meant to say is don't say it too loudly, because there's lots of us who can't go back yet who'd quite like to go back. He points out also, that in some other areas of this, some other sectors, shall we say, there have been some real challenges as people have gone back to work in terms of making sure that all the social distancing is really going to work. So he was particularly pleased that we're taking it slowly and gently and making sure that a lot of the social distancing measures are in place. We're not, for those going back, moving yet to 1 metre. We're staying at 2 metres while we work out exactly in practice how things operate in buildings and so on. Another Paul wrote to and sent me some pictures of the Bridge View Light Railway, miniature railway at Russell's Garden Centre. And it's wonderful to see people back doing things that they really love doing, building this miniature railway. And yes, Paul, I do promise you, I will come and pay my pound and have my ride when it's open to the public again, and we're able to do that. I can't now remember if it was last week or the week before, that I mentioned that the Student Opportunities team were looking for volunteers to do mentoring to help, in particular, some of our students who are from wider participation backgrounds, to support them in what comes next. And it's brilliant to hear that many of you have been volunteering. Fantastic. And if you want to do that, if you want to get in contact and volunteer, please contact Samantha.Merrix, MERRIX, at warwick.ac.uk. Several weeks ago now, I think I was telling you about the great work that Mohan and Karina are doing in terms of creating reagents and materials that are really important in this fight against COVID-19. And they've been preparing and doing some of this work, manufacturing this stuff to send to Africa. And it's all gone now. Well, not all of it, but the first batch has all gone out to 5 different countries, which is absolutely fantastic to see. One little piece of disappointment, though, also, it's quite good news. I said to you last week that Mary had started, she'd been chosen to be part of the tests for the vaccine. And what we were hoping to do is she would tell us how the journey was going on that road to the vaccine. The first stage of it, having been chosen, was for her to go to Birmingham Hospital and to be tested to see if she'd had the wretched COVID-19. Because, of course, if you had it, you've got the antibodies, you can't go through the vaccine test. And although she said that she'd had a bad cold, she didn't think she had it, but the bad cold, in fact, was COVID-19. So Mary has had it, which means she can't carry on with the test, which is a shame. But as I said to her, even though she's pretty gutted at not being able to go through with this, she's got antibodies. So that's the upside for if, and let's hope it doesn't happen, if we have a resurgence of this virus. Do you know what? You've been sending me things. I've been talking to you now for 14 weeks. And we are now at the end of the summer term. We started this back in March, and here we are on the hottest days of the year. And I'm sure it's true for you. Where I am now talking to you, I am absolutely roasting hot. And I know it makes working from home, if you're in the working from home category, even more challenging, even more difficult. After these 14 weeks, and now at the end of term, we've got some more things to be doing, but slowly people will start to go on to leave. I thought what I might do is just slow this down. We won't do one next week. We'll do a community update in a couple of weeks. I know that some of you will be, as I say, slowing down, saying nothing's slowing down for me yet, but it will be the case, I think, over the next couple of weeks, as I say, as people take leave. So we won't do one next week, but we'll do one the week after and see what kind of things are going on as hopefully we move through into the summer and things do start to get more back to normal for more people in our community. So thanks for paying attention to this. Thanks for being involved. Please do keep sending me stuff. Asa, thanks for you very much for coming and telling us something about your experience. If you have things you want to share, please do it. But as I say, I'll speak to you all again in a couple of weeks. Thanks very much.